Hi everyone, welcome to the Emergency Preparedness for Teaching and Learning program from the Center for Teaching Excellence, Singapore Management University. The latest news today is that the haze condition in Singapore has worsened. The PSI index is getting worse and worse. Schools in our neighboring countries such as Malaysia have been shut. This could very possibly happen in Singapore as well. The question is, if this happens in Singapore, are we at SMU ready to teach during such a situation? Based on the past record of events such as this and anticipating such a situation, CTE had put together a program called Emergency Preparedness for Teaching and Learning Program. Basically, this involves all our faculty members and adjunct members attending a training workshop to get familiarized with the technology tools and redesign their face-to-face lesson to an online lesson. And post-workshops, they are required to implement online teaching in their regular lesson. That is, they need to try out using the technology tools in their regular lesson. Many of you have attended the workshops, and we hope that you have had the opportunities to try out the technology tools in your regular lessons. If you have attended the workshop, we hope that this short video clip reminds you of what we covered during the workshop. If you have not attended the workshop, we hope that this video provides you with some resources and helps you in planning to teach and be ready to teach online during this emergency situation. What does teaching online or teaching during emergency situation looks like? Let us look at what happens during any lesson, whether it is face-to-face or online. This can be summarized as basic 5 activities or the teaching activity framework. Essentially, it involves course management, content delivery, getting students to participate with the content as well as the instructor, getting students to collaborate with their peers and learn from their peers. And it also involves assessment of learning to understand what students have learned and to what extent. At the end of it, the instructors and peers would probably give feedback to the learners. When this is considered in an online situation, we can break it down into these 7 steps. It would involve posting materials online, contacting the students online, conducting the lesson online, whether it is synchronous or asynchronous. Synchronous means at the same time where the students and instructors are present together online at the same time. It also involves conducting discussions online, submitting or collecting online assessments, giving online assessments, grading and providing feedback online. In online teaching at SMU, we need to also consider SMU's mission and purpose. SMU's EPTL preparation is beyond posting materials online and expecting students to do individual learning. SMU's mission is about interactive and collaborative pedagogy, and therefore we hope that our faculty members could incorporate these elements in online teaching as well. So how do we do that? Here are 10 critical survival tools that you will need for teaching online during emergency situations. These are WebEx, Echo 360, and e-learn tools such as quiz, discussion forum, journals, rubrics, gradebook, Dropbox, and other learning tools that you would be familiar with such as Google applications, and YouTube. If we classify these tools with the activities, we will see that the course management is basically done by the e-learn learning management system. We could use Google Docs, Echo 360 and WebEx for content delivery. Most of us would be familiar with the Google applications such as Google Docs. Echo 360 is a video capturing tool and that helps us to prepare videos such as the one that you're watching now. WebEx is a tool meant for web conferencing, whereby you can interact with your students and conduct synchronous online lecture. These tools can also be used to encourage student participation and collaboration. On top of that, you have the rubrics and Dropbox from the eLearn to assess and provide feedback to your students. If you want to know more about these tools and how to use these tools, please log into eLearn and search for emergency. Click on Emergency Preparedness for Teaching and Learning EPTL, which is meant for faculty members and adjunct members. In that course, under Table of Content, you will find a lot of valuable resources. You will find workshop slides and workbook, which you can flip through to get some ideas. You could also go to the software download to download Echo 360 and WebEx plugin. You will find video tutorials on how to use the tools discussed in the workshop here. You would find even more detailed technical videos of the same technology tools under Tools for Emergency Preparedness. So please do look through the videos if you need any online assistance or help and familiarize with the technology tools. Once you're familiar with the technology tools, you would want to consider redesigning your face-to-face lesson to an online lesson. You could use this template to redesign your lesson. As in the face-to-face lesson, you will need to start with your learning objectives and consider the activities that you're going to conduct, the duration, and in this case, you would also need to think about whether it is going to be synchronous or asynchronous. Being online, it gives a flexibility that students need not be present online at the same time as the instructor to learn. So you need to consider whether you want your lesson to be synchronous or asynchronous. You also need to think about the technology tools you're going to use and the preparation and resources needed. Let us consider this face-to-face lesson. For instance, you might want to explain a theory and you might want to get your students to analyze and discuss it. And when conducted face-to-face, you might actually give a lecture for 30 minutes and get students to discuss or think, pair and share for 15 minutes. How would it look like when you want to conduct it online? There are many ways and many approaches. Here is an example that you might want to consider, which is fairly straightforward. In this case, you might want to either post video or articles for students to read, or you might want to give both. Okay? And this could be either 15 minutes or 45 minutes depending on the time that you think is needed. And then you might want students to analyze it and discuss it. and this could be an online discussion. So you would need to consider what is an appropriate time, and we do not want it to be too much longer than a face-to-face lesson. On the other hand, we do not want to shortchange either. But you would be the best person to judge, and it would typically be based on the kind of time that you yourself would take to learn such a material. So you can expect that students would probably take longer than that. You would also need to think about whether the lesson is going to be synchronous or asynchronous. In this case, because we want the lesson to be asynchronous, we could use a tool such as Echo 360 to record the video and to put it online. It could also happen that you do not need to record a video. There might be other available YouTube videos that you could use. Okay, in this case, if you are using Echo 360, you will need to download the Echo 360 software. If you're conducting online discussion, the typical format is that online discussion are conducted asynchronously. But hey, nothing stops you from giving a time to your students and saying that we will discuss online at this time, meet us online at this time, and having a synchronous online discussion. So you could have a 1 hour synchronous online discussion. And to grade the students, you might want to set up the rubrics ahead of time. Alternatively, you can also grade based on the criteria that you have given manually. So we hope that gives you some resources on the technology tools and the redesigning of online lesson. eLearn also has another teaching online program which is a lot more in-depth, and it is called the CTE Blended Learning G1 program. It introduces you to teaching online, and you will find a lot more resources in this course. If you want to find out more information on the EPTL program, you could go to this website. During emergency situation, your students and you will be informed by SMU. One of the changes that you would see is that the eLearn page, the login page, will change to indicate that the emergency situation is in place. If you have further queries, you could also contact your school representatives. For pedagogical support, please contact cte@smu.edu.sg. For any technical assistance and technology assistance, you could contact the eLearn team at SMU. Well, we hope that this emergency situation does not happen and the haze subsides with the rain. But if there is a need to conduct lessons online, I'm very confident that most of us would be able to handle the situation because we have always been using all these tools, eLearn and such tools. The difficulty may be in using tools that we are not familiar with, so you may need to practice it on your own. If you do need any help, just give us a call or email us, and we will be there to help you through this situation. Thank you and have a great day.